And it's a flurry of activity at the courtrooms this week. Here are some of the trending stories from the law court.
We begin in Lagos State, where a federal high court has granted bail to Mr. Gbenga Makanjola, an aide to the President of the Senate, and two others who are standing trial over an alleged 3.5 billion naira fraud. The defense counsel, Mr. Paul Erekoro, had argued the bail application on behalf of the accused, urging the court to admit them to bail on liberal terms. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission had preferred an 11-count fraud charge against Mr. Makanjola, a Deputy Chief of Staff to Senator Saraki, along with Melrose General Services Limited and Obiora Mobi. The accused persons pleaded not guilty to the charges after listening to the arguments. The presiding judge, Justice Babs Karumi, granted them bail in the sum of 250 million naira each. The case has been adjourned to December the 4th for trial.
We have been articulated.
Meanwhile, the trial of alleged kidnapped kingpin Chukwudumeme Onwamadike, popularly known as Evans, stalled due to the absence of his counsel in court. At the resumed proceedings, the court was informed that Evans' counsel, Mr. Olanrewaju Ajanaku, sent in a letter explaining that he would not be available and requested for an adjournment. Evans is facing two separate charges, bordering on conspiracy to kidnap, kidnapping, and attempted murder, before Justice Adedayo Akintoye. The case has been adjourned to the 24th of October. Still in Lagos, a state high court has struck out the case of fraud against the CEO of INNOSON Motors Nigeria Limited, Innocent Chukwuma, due to inability of the EFCC to produce him in court. The defendant, Innocent Chukwuma, who hasn't appeared in court since 17th January 2018 for arraignment, has however been represented by his counsel. At the proceeding, the defense counsel, Professor Joseph Mbaduga, argued that it's the responsibility of the prosecution's counsel to produce the defendants in court for any jurisdiction to be exercised. The EFCC counsel, Zainab Betu, told the court that several attempts to produce Mr. Chukwuma have been made, including a warrant of arrest that was issued, but he has been allegedly hiding from the operatives. Mr. Chukwuma and his company are facing a 4-count charge bordering on conspiracy to obtain property by false pretenses, stealing and forgery in a transaction with Guaranty Trust Bank.
We have been articulated.
Meanwhile, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has vowed to ensure that Mr. Innocent Chukwuma is arrested to face fraud charges in court. And from Abuja, a federal high court has dismissed a suit filed by the BENUE state government challenging the powers of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to investigate its accounts. Justice Nnamdi Dingba, who dismissed the suit for lacking in merit, ruled that it was predicated on a misconception that the EFCC lacks the statutory powers to investigate the financial activities of a state government. While faulting the judgment, the Benue state government says it will challenge the decision at the Court of Appeal. The trial of a Danish national, Peter Nielsen, resumed at a state high court in Lagos, with the prosecution calling its first witness. Mr. Nielsen is accused of murdering his Nigerian wife and daughter. The witness, Daniel Joel, who was a driver to Peter and his family, narrated how the late singer, Zainab Nielsen, before her death, came knocking on the door at the driver's lodge around 1 a.m. in 2017 with her daughter, Petra Nielsen, and asked him to call the security men to come and hold Peter Nielsen, that he is mad and wants to kill her. Joel added that Zainab showed him the wounds on her face after opening the door for her. Thereafter, he made a call through the intercom to the security men who came, and while they were with her, reiterated that the defendant, Peter, wanted to kill her and she won't go back in the house. The witness, who was led in evidence by Mr. Adeniji Kazim, the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Lagos State, said he asked her where she wanted to go at that time of the night, but told the driver not to worry and go back to sleep. According to the witness, after an hour, the deceased came back with the police and arrested the defendant, Peter Nielsen, who was taken to Ikoyi police station. Also, during cross-examination by the defendant's counsel, Mr. Olashukwu Oshashere, the witness said he hasn't seen Peter take cocaine nor cigarettes before and doesn't know the relationship between Zainab and Peter. The trial continued the following day at the Igweshere High Court, with the court calling the second witness, Evelyn Gimba, housekeeper to Nielsen and his family. The accused has pleaded not guilty to the charges against him. Nielsen, 53 years of age, who was arraigned on June the 13th and has since been remanded in prison, is standing trial on a 2-count charge of murder punishable under Section 223 Cap C17 Volume 3 Criminal Law of Lagos State 2015.